Hi, I'm Bonnie Lynn Linke of Stamping with Bonnie Lynn, and welcome to my studio. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I'm bringing you this card here, Season Greetings, using the Trees for Sale stamp set. And this is in the new mini catalog, July to December, also known as the holiday catalog in my opinion. And in the celebration, which is going on right now, which runs through August 31st, if you place a $100 merchandise order, you can choose these tree lot dies that matches the stamp set for free. And they also have a trailer. I have not played with that yet, but it's like an old-fashioned trailer, and it's really cool looking. You might have seen it if you've been on Facebook or someplace, and it's really cool. I can't wait to make that one too. So great stamp set. And also for this card, I used Brightest Glow, the Season Greetings greeting for it. And I used, to cut out the season greetings, I used the Labels Aglow. This is the one that goes with the Twinkling Lights stamp set. And I used this die right here to cut out the greeting. And I had really wanted to use the Christmas greeting, but I also wanted to use this die, and the two of them didn't work together. The wording was just a little bit too big for that. And I also made another one just like it, but it says Happy Christmas. And I used the retired set from last year, the Happy Holidays, in case you have that. Happy Christmas works with that die really good too. And it also has some good sayings. We can't forget to use those retired sets. I know I still use stamp sets from years ago, and I have a spreadsheet, so I know who gets which Christmas card every year, so I don't send them the same set every year or ever, hopefully. So, okay, this is what we're gonna do. And I'm just gonna set this where I can look at it and bring in the supplies. I've already stamped and cut out a lot of the supplies. The paper I'm using for the background is from the Rings of Love Designer Series paper, and this is also in the Celebration catalog, and you can get this set of paper free with a $50 order. And if you look at the back, I've already put a little bit of tape on the ends. Look at the back side of this. I love this. I think those birds are so beautiful, and it would make a great thank you card. It would even make a wonderful Christmas card. And you could probably even do Hanukkah too with having the blue. And we got the Night of Navy. Now we're going to put this on after we stamp some trees on this. And then our card base is Mint Macaroon. We're going to go ahead. It's already scored. It's 4 1/4 inches by 11 inches, scored at 5 1/2. I'm going to just go ahead and use the bone folder and give that a good burnish. And there we go. And then with the dies, I just cut out the green trees, and then I cut out, let me get the stamp set for you and show you. I used this one to cut out the green tree. I didn't stamp it with any ink. I just used the Evening Evergreen paper. And then I took a piece of white cardstock and I put the adhesive sheet on the back of it. Let's see, that would be this side here. And then I cut out a bunch of, what did I do with it? Oh, here it is. And then I cut these out, and I cut them out in the 3 different sizes. And I also went ahead at the same time, I stamped the little tree stamp that's in there. And I know I have them someplace in this mess. Here's one right here. I stamped it, and then I went ahead and cut it out also because I wanted it to stick directly to the paper, the background, so that worked. And then right here what you see is I took my alcohol markers. I happened to use my Copics on this one. And for those of you who use Copics, I used E79, then E77, E74, and then E71. I went from dark to light, and I just made lines of it like so. And also you could do the same and with your Stampin' Blends and use your light and dark soft suede, and they would be good. And if you need it a little bit lighter, what you want to do is take your, let me grab this. You want to take the clear one that is just, it's a color lifter, and you can just take it and run it down like so, and that would even lighten it up some too. The color lifter is what you use to push ink back within the lines. If you color outside the lines and it's not red, you can push the color back with it, but it's also what you use, and I want to show you this. You take your color, and I'm going to do it with my Copic one just because my color lifter is a little bit dirty, but this is what we call kissing. You take your color lifter and you rub it against your Copic marker or your Stampin' Blend, and you put it on your paper, and that gives you a different shade of the color. And that's how you can get a third shade to help with your blending. Just a little secret. And also, it's what I did on one of my cards recently that, well, it's the one I shared the other day. And let me grab that real quick. To do this background, right in here, you'll see I have a lighter blue. What I did is I took my balmy blue and I take my light, and then I take my color lifter and I just went like so, and that is how I formed the tree wheels around the trees. Just one of the little secrets. I've been using my Copic markers before the Stampin' Blends came out, and so I have a complete set of them. So unfortunately, I don't have all the Stampin' Blends. But I love to color, and that was one of the things that the instructor taught us to do. And we did that for backgrounds and for glass and for water. Okay. So we'll get this out of the way. Okay, and what I want to do is I want to show you how I stamped. Well, I'll show you on the background here. What we're going to do is I want to put some trees on here to just give a little bit more dimension than the trees I already made, but it's all done in the same way, so you'll be able to see how I made my trees also. And the colors I used were Evening Evergreen and Soft Succulent. So let me grab all these. And I just, on this one, let's see, which one do I want for this guy? I think I want the top part for my sky. So I'm just going to take, oh, whoops, I need my Stampin' pad underneath. Give it a little bit of softness because there is no padding on these, so you need to stamp on something a little bit softer, and that's what this Stampin' pad is good for. So I want to just add some trees to this that are a little bit up higher than what my other trees are going to be. And I need this one right here. And I'm going to be doing some stamping off too. So let me just put the scratch pad under here and open my soft succulent. So, okay, I'm not going to stamp off on, no, I'm going to leave that one as it is. So I'm going to stamp off lightly, and then I'm going to Just stamp this right there. It's very light. I'm going to take my evening evergreen with the inside and stamp it right there. Then I want to take the medium size stamps also. And this time I'm not going to stamp off on this first one. I'm just going to stamp it. And then I'm going to go back and use the soft succulent. No, I think I want the evening evergreen. Beans, the evening evergreen is darker than the soft succulent. I didn't mind not cleaning it first. There we go. But I do need to clean it now because I'm going to put it back in soft succulent. There we go. I have a chamois that I just used. And I am going to stamp off, and I'm going to stamp it right down there. And then put this in soft succulent. There we go. And that way I just have a few extra trees on here that not much of them, as you saw in the original card, not much of those trees show, but enough, maybe just a tiny bit here and there. It acts as some fill because this is a tree lot with trees for sale. Okay, my stamps are cleaned off. I'll go ahead and move this out of the way. And close up these because we're all done. Okay, now we're going to add our Night of Navy to our card base. Tear and tape is my adhesive of choice. I know it takes a little bit longer, but it's one that if you get Undo, which is a solvent dissolver, you can remove something if you get it on way too crooked or you get it on upside down. If you build your card front on this piece of paper and then put this on afterwards, and you happen to put it with the opening up at the top or something. Not that any of us would ever do a silly thing like that, but it does happen. I've done it a time or two, especially when I first started. Okay, and then we're going to add a little bit more tear and tape. I like having tape on all four sides. I don't like to see edges flapping that shouldn't be. And also when stuff go through the mail, I think it just holds up better if it's well taped. Okay, we'll put this on. I love making Christmas cards. I could just do them all year round. And actually, I did do some over the springtime. Not enough, but I got to start. I guess that's what happens when you have a big family and you like to send cards out. And my nieces and nephews, grandchildren, they all like getting the cards. I have a great nephew who's 9, and he lets me know that he saves them all, which is really cute. Okay, now we do need to color our lights. And so here's one of my light strips. And oh, I thought I had already colored one of them, but I guess I didn't. So we are going to color these. Now, when you're working with alcohol markers, you do not want to color on top of paper. I know it may be neater, but the ink doesn't blend, and it doesn't, it just doesn't, it doesn't blend, and it just doesn't move across the paper as well if it's soaking into paper on the bottom. And this is alcohol ink, so it's really no big deal that I get it on my work surface because I just take alcohol wipes and clean it up. Now what I'm doing is I'm just taking this along the edges where there's a lot of white showing and filling it in. This is the dark shaded spruce that I'm using. You could use the light one too. And normally I use at least 2 different shades when coloring, but this is doing thin items are not something that I have a real steady hand for, so I don't tend to always use 2 pens, 2 shades. And get these edges. All right, now we need to color the light bulbs. Whoops, that was silly. I took it off one end to close the other end. Okay, so I think we are going to start with red. Now there is a stamp with a string of lights on it, and I'm using 4 colors, so I know I'm going to repeat it on the 5th one, and then I'm going to start it on the 3rd one right here because I don't want red on both of those ends. And then I think I'll go yellow, and this is light daffodil. There we go. The dark daffodil was just too dark. Follow it up on there. And then we will go the light Oasis Orchard. I thought that was a pretty blue to use. So we'll color this one to stay in the same row, and we'll bring the blue up here. And then that leaves the green, and for the green we are using light Granny Apple. Okay. And while I was doing that, I saw a couple obvious white spots that I don't want to show up on my card. So now I got the light shaded spruce. And I'm just making sure I get those a little bit better. There we go. And you can see where I got ink on my fingers too. So I'll take an alcohol wipe, just rub it off my finger and rub it off my desktop. I normally don't color right on my desktop. I have a glass tabletop from Tim Holtz. It's about like so. And that's what I normally do all my coloring on because it does clean up so easy. So I don't recommend to do it right on your countertop. This will come off. I'll get a magic eraser and those things pull everything off. Okay, so when I had my white sheet and I showed you how I did the brown for area or right here, I think I showed this to you. Then I cut out my 2 poles. Now I could have cut them out of just regular crumb cake or Sahara sand if I wanted to, but I just like making my own because it gives it more texture to it, more character. And I wanted the adhesive because it's much easier to use the adhesive sheets than what it is to glue it for me. And let's see, I want the lights about right here. So So I'm just sticking on my poles because I want my trees to go over top them a little bit. And if they're not even, that's okay. No reason why one can't be a little bit higher than the other. And I should have probably, let me see, now that's on, I think that's gonna stick now. Okay, I had spread them a little bit too far out because I may put my lights at an angle. Okay, now you wanna take your trees and you wanna figure out what you wanna do with them. Let's see. And also when I did my trees, I stamped it on white cardstock. I had stamped off the soft suede, then stamped the white cardstock with the solid one. And then with the branch one, I just used the full strength soft succulent. I said soft suede, I'm sorry, it's soft succulent. And I did it on the white cardstock. But I also used a piece of the Painted Christmas Designer Series paper. It was green, you can't really tell it. And it just gave it a little bit darker look, and I thought that was a pretty look to it. And as you can see, I'm trying to let the trees show some in the background. And I don't want it too high because my lights are going to be up there. And I just want the stamp ones in the back. So go like so. And I figure out. And this one I actually, instead of evening evergreen, I did it on the soft succulent paper. I'll put one over here to hang over. I think I'll just do the 3 trees right here like so. I want to leave room for a little doggy, so that's why I'm leaving a space there. I'll bring this one down some. Okay, so I have a general idea of what I want to do. It'll probably be totally different when I lay them on the paper than what you see right now. Okay, I want to get my little silicone mat. I have trouble with using the cell, getting it going, so I like to get it going on the mat. And then I just want to put a piece right there. Okay, and I know I want this one on this side, down a little bit lower. So I'm probably covering up that one tree all the way pretty much, and that's okay. You can see a little bit along the edge there. But the reason why I used the paper, a green Designer Series paper, is because I just wanted to add a little bit different shade and look along the edges to it. Can't have everything be the same. Oh, we could, but okay. Okay, and I'm gonna put on my tree for sale. I stamped it on white cardstock. This is Real Red ink, and it's one of the stamps in the Trees for Sale stamp set. And I just need to get my dimensionals here. Get my Take Your Pick tool. And as you know, I overkill with dimensionals, and that's okay. We all have our own habits that we do and don't do. Would have helped if I got it on the paper and not on the desk. Okay, now that little post on the sign needs a little bit of dimensional to it, so I'm going to cut a piece. These are Tim Holtz scissors from Tonic Studio. I misplaced my paper snips, and I got those at a Copic class I went to years ago, and so I love them. Okay, trees for sale. We'll put it a little bit of an angle. Okay, and I'm probably going to have to lift that up to get this. Maybe I don't want that there. That's okay. I want to cover that, so we'll just wait a second on that. We are going to use dimensionals on this. If you like this video, I would appreciate it if you click on like, and if you haven't subscribed yet to my YouTube channel, please do, and you'll be notified whenever I post a video. And feel free to leave comments, nice comments, please. Okay, I need another dimensional under that because I double stacked them on the tree part, so we'll add another one. There we go. And we will what do you think? A couple more trees like that, and then we'll put the doggy in front. Yeah, that will look good. Let me see, but I think we'll do the little tree right there. Yeah, I like that better. Okay. Now that I know what I'm doing, thank you for your patience. I appreciate it. And I would love it if you would post your cards on my webpage, stampingwithbonnielynn.com, and that's stamping with, just how you think you would spell it. And then Bonnie Lynn is BONNIELYNN. Growing up, the only time I was called Bonnie Lynn is when I was in trouble, and then I knew to run the other way. And it was only my mom who called me Bonnie Lynn. And then when I moved to Florida for a couple years, I had a doctor there. That's all he would call me was Bonnie Lynn. And so I just started using it. There we go. And if you visit my webpage, you'll have the opportunity to sign up to get my emails. I send out 2 or 3 emails a week. The most I've ever sent out is 4. It just depends. I try to send out card recipes every Monday and Thursday. And then once a month, I send out to let you know what the paper pumpkin kit is going to be. And if Stamping Up has some other type of news, I'll share that with you too. And we add our little doggy. And our little doggy needs an eye. And I have a marker here. It's a Staedtler Tri Plus Fine Liner pen. You can use these with Copics, so that's why I have them, and they come in all colors. So he needed a little eye there. Now we need to do the lights. But let's put on the lights before the greeting. Okay. For the lights, I took a mini dimensional and I cut it in half, like so. I wanted one of them up off the ground. You don't need to use, I should have, where's my poker? You don't need to have them both up off the ground, but you need at least one of them to be so. But we'll put this one on first with some glue dots. And we just need a couple. And I see where the sun is starting to shine in. Let me close my blind real quick. Hopefully that doesn't cut off too much light. There you go. I'm sorry, I didn't notice that sooner. I usually do my videos earlier in the day, and I had a migraine today, so I wasn't up to it till this evening. Okay. So we're going to take this and run it down kind of like this. It's going to miss it a little bit, so let's see if we can lift this up and bring it in a little bit. So it looks like it's touching. There we go. Perfect. Okay, and I'm also going to put a glue dot on the ends of this because I don't think the dimensionals are going to hold it completely in place because they are so small, being cut in half like that. And get another one. So I am bunching these glue dots up. There we go. Whoops, that didn't stay on there. There we go. I'm sorry that this video is a little bit longer, but I really wanted to put this together with you so you could see exactly how I did it. And I wanted to at least stamp a couple of the trees so that you could see that too. Now these I'm kind of crisscrossing over, just like that. I do each one a little bit differently. Okay, and we need to put our tree stands on a couple of the trees that are out in front. So let's get those taken care of. This is the older version of the Take Your Pick tool from Stampin' Up. And this is the newer one. The other one will always be my favorite, I think, but I really like this one too because this end you can pick things up and you can unscrew this and put a brush on it for when you do a fine cut die to get the pieces out of. There we go. Let's see, I don't think, no, I can't get one under there. So, okay, so we'll just have the two on this one. We need to do our greeting. Oh, here they are right here. So we'll put some dimensionals on this here, and I used 3. And yes, I do use up the sides too. We don't waste anything. But I really like this die cut on the Labels Aglow. Okay, we'll put that right there. And we forgot to do, when we were using our Copics, we forgot to do the wreath and the bow. So we will do those real quick. Let me get rid of this. Okay, make sure I got the top side. I do. Now, I did not use the adhesive sheets on these because, again, I cut dimensionals for them. Okay, for the wreath, I'm taking my Stampin' Blend, and I'm just going to make dots around it. And this is the dark one. And with the, see how I did that? Left some white. And now I'm going to take my light one and I'm going to make fat dots. I could actually just take it and brush it. And that just, because no wreath is just one color, so this gives you two colors. And it blends it. Okay, for the bow, we will start with our dark Real Red Stampin' Blend. And I'll just make a couple strokes like so. I need to use the tip more than what I did here. Okay, left some white. Now I'll just take my light Real Red Stampin' Blend and just color over the whole thing. And that blends it. And that gives me my bow. And I used my silicone mat this time. I did not want to get red on my tabletop because red, I don't know what it is about red, but it just kind of stains things. And if you get it on your paper and you try to push it back in, gone out of the lines too much with it. I'm cutting really skinny pieces of the dimensional for my wreath. Red just stains and you cannot push it back in the lines. Now, if you had some cherry cobbler, a cherry cobbler Stampin' Blend, I probably would have used that on my bow too, just to make it a little bit deeper. Okay, now I want to add these to the back of my wreath, and you'll see that the ink really soaked through on these two things right here. It's because they're so small and you're applying so much pressure. Okay, I want to use my dimensionals, but I only want to use them on the lower half of the wreath because the top half is going to sit up on my greeting. You need steadier hands than what I have. I used to carve candles with a knife, and my hands would be shaking and everything, but once I hit the wax with the knife, they stopped shaking, which was a good thing. I've done some cool things. I like learning new things. Okay, so there we go. Now we're just going to take this and we're going to put it so just part of the wreath is in the middle of the greeting there. Whoops, one of my dimensionals came off. Whoops, that's too high. Okay. Okay. I'll stick that back in. This is the first one I had trouble getting on, of course. Must be because I'm on video. And then I'm going to put a glue dot and I'm going to kind of roll it and bunch it up because this is pretty thin right here. And I'm going to put this right at the bottom of the wreath. And now I am going to take my embellishments of the red and green adhesive back pearls. I think they are called something else in the mini catalog too. Let me see on my notes if I've written it down. I have not written it down yet, but I believe they have another name. They're under the one with the Lights Aglow label, that whole suite. That's where they're at. And I'm putting on the red ones. You can put on the gold or the soft succulent, it looks like, or the silver. Any of them would look pretty, but I decided to do the red. All right. So pretty. Isn't that card front really pretty? I've already done an envelope. Let me grab it. And what I did is I took the small and the medium of the tree branches and just stamped them right down there like so. And now for the inside, what I'm going to do is bring this back out right here, grab my stamp set, and I'm going to take the string of lights. I should not put black ink pad on a piece of white cardstock. That's a disaster. Okay. And I'm going to take it and I want just 5 of the light bulbs. There we go. Go on and close that up. I am going to take the same color markers. I'll do yellow on both ends. Daffodil Delight. I'm going to do Granny Apple Green in the middle. I don't like putting the Granny Apple Green next to the yellow because they're both so light. There's my red. Whoops, and I went a little bit out, but that's okay. I'll show you what I mean by pushing the color back in. You take your color lifter and you just take it and you push it back towards that. But with red, it doesn't work real well, and I don't want to make a bigger mess, so I'm not going to do any more than that. Let's see. And then I want to take my greeting. You light up the season. Let me wipe this off real quick. And I think we will do that. Let's see. I need to put that on there. What color did I do that in? You light up the season. I did it in green. I think this time, though, I'm going to do it in Night and Navy. That is what I used on the front. Okay, I want to get my paper so it's straight. There we go. And then I am going to stamp a couple trees in the bottom. And then I will put it in my card. Let's see, is that pretty straight? Yeah, it is. It's straight enough. But the P is, I kind of messed up on the P, so I may redo this. So I'm not going to go ahead and tape it at this point. But it will go in there just like so with the trees on it. And then on the back, I'm going to take my limited edition and I'm going to do one of a kind. And let me grab one of my blocks. And let me see, where's my soft, no, mint macaroon is the color that I use for the back, so that's the color that I like to use for the stamp. This is from the limited edition stamp set. There we go. One-of-a-kind creation. And it has Stampin' Up! On it, so that means if I want to sell it at a craft sale or something, I can legally do so. So there we go. That's our card. And this is the envelope to go with it. And this is what a mess I made. And this is what the inside will look like on your card if you do it like I did. And how fun was that? Thank you for staying with me for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll make a card and send me. My email is bonnie@stampingwithbonnielynn.com. Send me one of a picture of your cards. I would love to get them. Or else you can notify me and ask me for my phone number and text it to me. I don't give those out on my video, though. Thank you very much, and I hope you've enjoyed Christmas in July so far this July. See you next week. Bye.